Alright, and we are back for some Eldar. I have not got to play the Eldar really at all. I've put in a fair amount of time with most of the races in Gladius. I've not put in too much with the Adeptus Sororitas, they're quite new. And I can't say I've put in that much time with the Necrons or the Orcs. But the Eldar I have put easily the least amount of time into. I picked up the DLC, I tried it for about 5 or 6 turns, and decided I would come back to them later, and I think then I instead got really deep into a Mechanicus playthrough, because I also bought the Mechanicus DLC with the Eldar DLC. Or, excuse me, the Aeldari. I'm sorry, I'm never going to get used to that one. I can take it better than the Astra Militarum, though. So, yeah, the Aeldari, or I'm just going to call them Eldar from here on out, it's just what it is. So, their mechanics, let's see, the webway gates that generate on the map for everybody, regardless of whether or not there's an Eldar there. The Eldar can spend influence to capture them, and can spend influence also to settle on them as cities, but the Eldar don't get to build regular settler units the way that almost every other race does, except the Space Marines, who also don't get settlers. So the Eldar are really dependent on hoping that the other players do not take out the webway gates. And you also need to be careful as the Eldar from the little bit I played, which is probably more than 6 turns for me to have bothered doing this at all. You do need to be careful as Eldar that you do not claim a webway gate as your own that's in enemy territory, that's in barbarian territory, without settling on it as a city as well. As the barbarians, once you take a webway gate, once you mark a webway gate as yours, the barbarians will start attacking it, even though it used to be one of their buildings. So I remember that much. You can found a city on top of activated webway gates to fortify Craftworld Aeldari's presence on Gladius. Right, because the purpose of a webway gate is supposed to just be teleportation, and then you can also settle on it. But since they tend to get killed by the AI so quickly, they're not really so useful for teleportation as they would seem. Remnants of the Fall, reduced city growth rate. The last remnants of a people whose mere dreams once overturned worlds and quenched suns. That's one of the nice little lore lines about the Eldar that's always used. Overturned worlds and quenched suns. But they have reduced growth rate, so you need to find ways to up the growth, because the Eldar, they don't reproduce very much since they're scared of Slaanesh, so they don't want to have too much fun. They can call upon off-world Asuryani? Is that what they're called sometimes? To join you and temporarily boost your growth rate. You can focus the Aeldari's spiritual consciousness to experience a period of increased loyalty. I don't remember using that, but presumably that was an ability I just didn't mess with. They gain energy for every dead Eldar unit. That makes sense. That makes sense lore-wise, since the Eldar are carrying the Soul Stones, and they use the Soul Stones to power their stuff. Which is kind of funny and messed up that you think about all the vehicles and buildings that the Eldar build have their own dead stuck inside them. However, it is amusing from a gameplay perspective, because that almost seems to encourage you to let your units die so you get free energy from it. Which, of course, is the opposite of how the Eldar should be playing. They should be trying to conserve every unit they can, since there's so few of them. Many Craftworld Aeldari units can move after acting. That's a unique thing. Only the Eldar have it, I believe. No, that's incorrect. I want to say that the Rattlings that the Imperial Guard gets in the DLCs, the Rattlings, I want to say, can also move after shooting. But other than that, it's just the Eldar. And Ancient Doom, the Eldar fear and loathe Slaanesh above all else, increasing their accuracy, but also increasing damage taken when facing chaos. That's oddly specific. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be really my first time playing against the Eldar. Let's make sure the settings are right. Yeah, I have quests turned off and all the DLCs turned on. There we go. Except I don't have the Lord of Skulls, but I'm not really that heartbroken about that one. And we will be skipping these in... we'll let the cutscene play.
Into the war in heaven. The war with no victors. Yet we survived. We thrived. We ruled for uncountable eons. This galaxy was ours, and we threw it away. in an excess of hedonism that tore reality apart, we birthed a dark god, into whose maw our people leapt. We are but the lingering mote of a golden empire. We will burn that flame brightly as long as we can. We have carried it to Gladius Prime. There, the schemes of fate meet. There is woven our future. There, we will solve its mystery.
So, Gladius... Okay, so I often, like, forget about the idea of Gladius as a actual planet with lore, and not just... Oh, right, yeah, as the Aeldari, you get to see all of the webway gates, where they are in the map. The ones that are in the corners are going to be the first to fall, certainly. Odds are this is the one we're going to end up claiming as our own. We've got good access to minerals and energy here. But yeah, right, what I was saying, Gladius, the idea of Gladius as a canon planet with lore is something I often don't think about, because it's kind of a bit odd that it's a planet that has seemingly in its past been settled by the Eldar, the Old Ones, the Necrons, and Chaos, and the Jakaro. Oh, well, I guess the Jakaro came with humanity, because it was most recently supposed to be a human planet, as so many are in the 40k universe. So, we got our two Guardians here. They are, if memory serves, pretty good for a unit that you start the game with, though not so good that you can just send them off on their own like Space Marines or Necron Warriors. The Ruins of Vol, that's a very good outpost to get at the start of the game. This is an awkward placement for our first city, though, because there's going to be so much space that's just taken up by the ocean. And so that's space we can't expand on. That is unfortunate. But, you know, let's see. Desert and volcanic biomes all around. Gonna have lots of energy and lots of minerals. These Imperial Ruins I'm unlikely to get really any use out of. I already have this generally better mineral territory up here. Whoo! Get a load of that! Is that what I think it is? Is there a... I think that might be a mineral outpost up there on a volcanic biome. If I can get a webway gate somewhere in the vicinity of it, it doesn't look like. I might not be able to really exploit that. But still, a 60% mineral output, that is nuts. I'm gonna have to get out of the Tau mentality here. Hang on. Okay, so I can spend 40 influence to get significantly increased growth. I can also spend 10 influence to claim a neutral webway gate. Okay. So yeah, we're going to claim this Ruins of Vol, but then we're probably going to have our Guardians go up here to explore what's going on with this mineral outpost. That 60% minerals is going to be really good in the future. Okay, like I was saying, I need to get out of the Tau mentality, though. I was thinking there for a second, well, I don't want to put too many mineral buildings in Lambruith. But no, it's fine. I can put as many mineral buildings as I want in Lambruith. I'm not playing the Tau anymore. I can just put buildings where I want. Okay, now let's see. Standard food, minerals, energy, research, and influence buildings. And also a infantry production building. Now, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go for the infantry producing building. It does provide loyalty and research, so it's a really good building in general. After that, I may want to invest into going hard on research. Let's see, because there's usually a really good tech at tier 10 for every race. Let's see, increases loyalty gained from Transcendent Bliss. I haven't got Transcendent Bliss researched at all, but I'm going to bet that that's quite good. Webway Constriction seems like it might be good depending on whether or not I can get any webways running at all. We'll have to see how aggressive the AI is about breaking them. However, from what I hear, the Eldar do have that as a problem, where they lose webway gates pretty rapidly. Let's see. Removes the cost... Webway Cartography removes the cost of activating webway gates. Well, it's only 10 influence, so that's not the end of the world. Let's see. We can get a hero building that also produces research and influence. And a vehicle building. We'll go for the vehicle building because I have such good ore access here. But after that, we'll probably go for the Shrine of Cain as well. Alright, we're getting a nice 2 influence from that. Okay, here we go. Claim that. And we walked into a neophyte ambush, but it's not the end of the world. We're definitely going to have to do a bit of healing here, though. As Guardians are not a particularly tanky unit, as you can tell by the large amount of damage we took from the Gene Stealer cultists there. I mean, the obvious next race to go for, in terms of DLC, if they want to keep continuing to support this game through DLC, which would be awesome if they did, but, you know, this game's got a limited budget, and it's not necessarily super popular. So if they do decide to wrap it up with the Sisters of Battle, that would also make sense. But if they do want to keep going, the obvious next race to look into is the Dark Eldar. But I really hope after the Dark Eldar they do hit the Gene Stealer cultists and maybe the League of Votann? I haven't been paying that much attention to the League of Votann reveal stuff. There's still, for me, that funny little thing of, oh, the squats are here and they're canon again. How about that? But if we can get the Votann in, that would be cool. Don't know if they have enough units or lore necessarily to support this just yet, though. Okay, there we go. We've got the... Curious. Oh, that's... Okay, that's a research that we can do later on that increases production. Okay. Right, alright. The Greater Ingress. This extension to the webway portal allows larger vehicles to access Gladius Prime. Without it, the Aeldari forces would just be infantry and jet bikes. Enough for a Harlequin troop or a Biltan vanguard, perhaps, but not for a true war effort. Okay, let's see. Oh, we can't do anything in the city just yet. Alright, these Guardians, I'll push them forward a little bit. It's unlikely they'll see anything this close to the base. And there we go, there's an ore field. Now, it looks like 1, 2, 3... Yeah, that looks like it's too far from any of the webway gates for me to exploit. That's unfortunate. Is what it is, though. Alright, and we will also take the Shrine of Cain for heroes. I don't know how good Eldar heroes are. I suppose we'll find out in a little bit. Alright, a free 2 minerals. Can't turn that down. This early in the game, outposts are so good. Vespids, oh, I hate you guys. And I apparently do a load of damage to you guys. And did not catch much in return, since I already wiped out most of your men. Alright, and there goes the last of the Vespids. We'll go ahead and have these guys sit and heal on the outpost for a little bit. There's one thing that's nice about low health units, they heal quickly. Okay, we've got an infantry building up, but the Guardians will cost 1 more food than we currently have. At the same time, I can operate at a little bit of a deficit for a little bit, though I've not got any good food tiles near me. They're all pretty bad. That's the way it is in Gladius usually, though. All the grassy nice tiles are the ones that the AI deploys on. I don't want to waste a tile that could go towards something else. Let's take this tile then. We'll put a food resource on it. And we will also go ahead and order another Guardian, because this early in the game... I mean, it's going to take 5 turns to produce it anyway, so he's not going to be done anytime really immediately. But the sooner we can get more Guardians out, the better, so we can take more outposts and kill more Barbarians. Let's see, we've got the Shrine of Cain researched, so we can get heroes out. That's the Autarch, the Spirit Seer, the Farseer Skyrunner, and the Avatar of Cain, who we will not be developing for quite a while. Now we have the ability to go on to the next tier, which inevitably we're always going to go for. Is there anything that increases loyalty? Is there anything that increases population cap? We'll take those. Alright. I am curious what the cooldown is on Transcendent Bliss and how long the effect lasts. There we go. We're seeing the webway gates start to get torn up by the AI. I believe that is just how life is for the Eldar. You start to understand the Eldar's position of getting sick of those other barbarians breaking your stuff. Okay, I'm going to set up a food building. It's going to be a bad food building, but it'll be a food building. And I need food. Okay, these guardians are ready to get on the move again. I'll have them sit here, though, because if they walk into the wrong ambush, they could get devastated. As we just saw with the one Eldar Guardian unit nearly getting killed by some standard Gene Stealer cultists. Okay, so we're at the very least getting a vague idea of where the enemy is. Because they are attacking this webway gate. No, not this. Is it this webway gate? Which way webway gate was it that was getting hit? This one. This one up here in the kind of central north region. Oh, that's... I always assumed the AI spawned in the quarters of the map. And right here, which, let's see, this outpost, this building style looks like it's either guard or mechanicus. I'm willing to bet guard, probably. Okay, let's see. Now this guardian will move on up. Lots of wireweed through here. Lots of stuff that's inhibiting movement. And there goes the first webway gate of the game. Who built this outpost? That looks like Necrons. I hope that they didn't spawn too close to me. Necrons are a pain to face in the early game. Oh, yep, more Gene Stealer cultists. How about that? What are the odds? Whatever, we can kill them in a single turn, so it's not bad. Okay, so that's another webway gate down. I expect it'll be the second of many. See, this particular guardian will camp out right here and claim that place as his, and he will start healing. This, what are these abilities? Spirit Preservation, +3 energy from experience value. Okay, for every level of experience a guardian has when he dies, he provides more energy. And Battle Focus, actions do not consume movement. Okay. Well then, let's see. I don't know how our expansion opportunities are going to be. It's probably just going to be what webway gates we can stay close to here. We're going to avoid taking any of the webway gates just yet, though, as I don't want any of the webway gates I have out on the fringes that I've claimed to start getting attacked by Kroot Hounds or something stupid like that. Okay. Ghost Halls. As Asurian was dying, consumed by Slanesh, he blessed the Aeldari. I won't read the lore for these things. I'd be here all day doing that. Oh, wow. I only just now noticed Guardians have 4 movement. That's pretty good for a standard infantry unit. Okay, let's keep exploring the Fog of War here a little bit. Big old volcanic biome here. Very big. Sheesh. Okay, we've got a food building up, so we're at least somewhat... We're in the green on food. We're in the black, I suppose. So, with that out there, let's go ahead and get out a... I want to throw down a research building as well. Just so we can start getting through that tree as quickly as possible. After that, we're going to have to look into energy, though. Alright, and we'll take Transcendent Bliss as well. I'm getting a lot of research. I know that's just kind of how the Eldar do things, evidently, because they get research from seemingly all of their buildings. But it's also noticeable that Ruins of Vol is presumably providing some big benefits as well. Let's see. Speaking of Ruins of Vol, we can settle another... Once we get the ability to settle it all, which, let's see, where's that in the tree? It is... We have the Loyalty Building and then Webway Redoubt. The ability to found cities on claimed Webway gates. Okay. So we can start founding cities next turn. So I might go ahead and go for this city. And if we put it on this Ruins of Vol, that'll increase research and get us to the end of the tech tree faster. Okay. Let's see, what's up here? Vespids, don't care. Yeah, they've got an attack range of 1, so it doesn't matter if I am this far from them. We've got a Promethium relay pipe, but it's not close to any desert, so it's not quite as good as I would want. And I am not going to choose to attack the webway gate, because I'm not a maniac. Ah, we've got ourselves a Mexican standoff here. Because my units only have one range as well. Well, we can push up the other Guardians to at least have somewhat of a numbers advantage. And wrap up the turn. Okay, and Transcendent Bliss. So we can now spend influence for loyalty. And how much would that cost? 40 for +3 loyalty. This early in the game, that might be pretty good. It wasn't that good, but it'll be better and better as the game goes on and I have more buildings set up. And as loyalty becomes harder to come by, of course. Let's see, let's go ahead and push in on these Promethium relay pipes. I'd like to take the free energy. Gives me more ability to make stupid economic choices that it will temporarily cover for. And I will not be attacking the webway gate because I am not a maniac. Okay, let's start researching webway redoubt so we can go ahead and settle this one that's on the ruins of Vol. Okay, it's going to be a fight then. So these other Vespid are going to move in and get hit by someone else's Overwatch as well. And take a lot more Overwatch damage than the other Vespids did. Sheesh. Okay, now let's see. Who here is going to need the most healing? Probably you guys. Okay, so these guys will then sit out on the outpost and heal again. Got to be a bit more conservative with the Aeldari units. You don't get them every day. And then we will also tell these guys to sit and heal. And these guys we will tell to just sit and defend so they don't give me notifications. Now here in Lambereth, let's see. We've got the research building put in. We're going to need energy in the future, though. We're already losing out on energy a bit. So, let's see. Gonna want to take this particular tile, probably. Let's see, what are you? You're a good energy tile, I guess. So, I'll put energy here just so we don't have to spend a turn occupying a tile. And we'll end the turn. Okay. And I suppose we're just going to be sitting still for a little bit while the men heal. And we are going to unlock Webway Redoubt next turn, so we'll settle our second city. Which, if we're going to be settling our second city, we probably want to scout around the real estate we're going to be occupying here. Make sure there's nothing particularly dangerous nearby, any barbs that are particularly big threats to cities. If we settled next to a Castellan, that'd be pretty silly. Okay, we've unlocked the ability to settle webways, so I will spend, let's see, 10 influence to claim it, and 60 influence and 60 minerals to make it a city. So I will claim the webway gate. It is now mine. And does the webway gate provide anything on its own? No, it's just a teleporting. It's just a means of teleportation. Alright, well, I'm going to claim it as mine. There we go. Now, who knows if I'm going to be able to actually afford the mineral cost of setting up a second city this early, but making stupid choices is what I do. So what we can do here is immediately set up another building, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a research building. Alright, and back in Lambereth, we are out of space, so we're going to have to expand the city's borders. Just to keep the mineral income, just to avoid spending minerals, we're going to expand onto the Skull Altar here and get free influence. Whoops, I've accidentally clicked onto the scroll bar. Okay, and we're going to want the loyalty building, as that is always such a valuable building. Though exquisite cultivation also sounds quite good. Where our research is already to the point that we can get turn 1, tier 1 techs. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll look into that in a minute, but right now I want to go first for the loyalty buildings, because that's so important in the early game. Please don't be a Castellan. Okay, it's not a Castellan, it's Croot Hounds. That's a lot more tolerable. Still annoying, though. It's annoying having a barbarian with infiltrate. Because there's not really the security of knowing that you can overwatch. So we're going to have to take the offensive here, but with the Crute Hound having 8 moves and us only having 4, there's limited capability to get the first strike here. Usually the Crute Hound gets the first hit. They're really focusing down that webway gate. Something about that webway gate has just deeply offended them. Man, playing on the huge maps must be so different for the Eldar just by the sheer virtue of you get so many more... Oh, Sirencaster. Oh, no, enslavers. I hate enslavers. Can't think of anyone who likes them, really. Be rather strange. We're probably going to lose a Guardian to these guys. Ugh. Oh, and there's also an Imperial Bastion. Thankfully, it's only got a range of 2, so we can take the Sirencaster, but that's going to be troublesome to get that Imperial Bastion off my land. Oof. Alright, here in Lambreth, we can expand the tiles once again. Now, we're probably going to need... Okay, our energy... The amount of energy we're putting out has expanded quite a bit because we got Karasinad set up. But we can go ahead... Let's see. Okay, so... Really? Okay, Transcendent Bliss only provides loyalty for 10 turns, but this then spends 10 turns on cooldown. That doesn't seem very good. I don't expect to use that very much, I suppose. It's probably better once we get later in the research tree and it's got some better upgrades put on it. Now, let's see. We're going to want to start putting out minerals if we're going to be expanding 2 cities at once. So, I'm going to expand in this direction. And then put it in a mineral building. Yep, there we go. Lost a Guardian. Oh, enslavers are the worst. Would it be possible for us to take it out in this turn, though? Let's see. Ah, the Guardians have zone of control. Oh, this is unfortunate. I don't want to hurt my own Guardians. Oh, enslavers are the worst. I gotta do some damage to the guard. No! Oh. Oh. I didn't think they'd do that much damage. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. That's just sad right there, man. That's pain. That's pain. I guess I'll be saving on food costs for a little bit. Hoo boy, let's go back and get some more tier 1 tax. Let's get Assyrian summons, because I'm evidently going to need another Guardian pretty soon. Ouch! Oh. Why? The Guardians were so much squishier than I expected. Oh, enslavers are the worst. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. Oh, boy. You know, at the very least, when bad things happen, they can sometimes be funny bad things. In a way, I'm glad that happened, because at the very least, that's amusing. Okay, we've got some kind of enemy up there that's firing bullets. That could be the Mechanicus, that could be the Space Marines. Okay, we've got Assyrian summons, increased production from... Oh, Crute Hounds. I don't want to see Crute Hounds. I want to see those that enslaver. I want to kill it so it's not a problem later. Hang on, how much damage would I take from the Crute Hounds? Quite a lot, but I can kill this unit of Crute Hounds before it can strike back. Oh, that's a lot of Crute Hounds. I might be able to wipe out quite a few of them, but hoo boy, they're probably going to take some shots of their own in a little bit. Plasma grenades, just to give Guardians more offensive capability for anything heavier than a Crute Hound. Ooh, that was rough. I think I need to pull these 2 Guardians back until I can get reinforcements. Especially with these Crute Hounds here, because a swarm of Crute Hounds can do so much damage. Observe. Half health. That's terrible. Okay, leave some parting shots and then run off into the night. That is quite nice that the Aeldari can do that. And we'll also take this Sirencaster, even though I know one of the barbs are going to take it back in the very next turn. +3 loyalty in both my cities, for free. Very nice. Karasinad is not getting population growth. They're just not. So let's go ahead and try and counter that. That was a very loud noise. I don't know how loud that comes through on the recording, but that was very loud on my end. That did not sound like that had been properly set up with the audio mixing in the options menu. Boy, Eldar cities look sparse. Which I guess they should. They're underpopulated. Okay, let's see. We wanted to put in mineral buildings because we will be needing minerals. We're also going to want to look into setting up a loyalty building soon because loyalty is going to be a problem as soon as you settle your second city. We can also go ahead and finish up the Tier 1 tax. Now they've moved back up to taking a bit of time. At the same time, let's keep moving up the tech tree. Let's see. Bonesinger's Chantry, right? That's the next building for me to go to, right? I should have researched that instead of the 2 Tier 1 techs I did research. Because that's just such an important building to get your cities online. Okay, we've claimed the Sirencaster. Let's pull back and let this guy heal. Okay. Karasinad has added the Ruins of Vol to their borders, and as such are now putting out 20 research. I'm putting out 40 research. This feels pretty good for the point in the game I'm at. As always, I'm sure that there is some, real pro strategy that can get you 800 research by turn 5. But I don't know that pro strategy. I am but a simple fool. And as such, this is an achievement for me. Let's see. We can go ahead and expand Karasinad again. And we'll want to set up more research buildings, because I want more research. I'll take this Necron tomb. They don't get to settle there. They're not allowed. Meanwhile, in Lambruth, how much would it cost for me to order another Guardian? Not bad. I'll take it. Okay, the Bonesinger's Chantry is available. I will be investing in that next. Which, let's see. How much research do Bonesinger's Chantries put out? Research of 2. That's quite nice. So, I will also invest in the Exodite Foothold. Why can I already get an Avatar of Cain? It's way too early in the game for me to get one of the Eldar's strongest units. Yes, I know they are mimetically weak in the lore, but I don't care. Okay, let's see. Both the cities are ready to grow, ready to build. This is going to cost a lot of minerals, but I'm going to invest in a Bonesinger's Chantry here, and a Bonesinger's Chantry as well, right? I can't just yet, so this city's going to be skipped. Lambruth's going to get skipped. But we do want to get Bonesinger's Chantry set up because we are going to want to build pretty tall cities, probably. It's unlikely we'll really get to claim that many webway gates. Odds are the AI is going to beat us to most of them. Why is that webway gate healing? Is it got a Tech Priest Enginseer next to it? That'd be pretty funny, a Tech Priest from the Imperium trying to figure out how to repair a webway gate. Humans have tried to figure out the webway before. It didn't work out for them. 10 turns to produce! Loyalty is brutal. Loyalty is brutal. Need to get a loyalty building up in Lambruth, because otherwise this is just going to get worse every turn. I'd like to thank whoever is sitting there repairing that webway gate. Alright, let's see. This Guardian is up and ready to go again. I'm thinking I should start exploring my territory to the southeast a little bit more than what I'm doing right now. At the same time, getting the Guardians to move all the way down there would be a rather long process that time could be spent better on claiming outposts. Alright, let's see. Bonesinger Convocation increases the production output of Bonesinger Chantries. I will absolutely take that. I didn't even look at the other techs. That's just how good buildings that produce buildings are. Well, oh yeah, there's definitely a tech priest doing that. Who's got the balls to attack a webway gate right in front of a Castellan? Or, rather than balls, the stupidity to do such a thing. We've got another Guardian out here. I'll have him do some light scouting to claim some outposts out here. Ideally, he won't get wrecked that badly. And we won't be producing any more Guardians because I don't have that much food to throw around. And population growth will certainly take up a lot of my food. Chaos Cultists! Hate you guys. Let's see. How much damage would I take in return? Oh, wait, that's the Windows key. I always press the Windows key on accident when I'm meaning to press Alt. Alright, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take these guys on. These Guardians can probably do quite a bit of damage and get out. Oh, we lost a dude. That's unfortunate. Oh, well. We do have a Jacaro encampment, so once we get heroes online, we can... Oh, hey, Crit Hounds. Once we get heroes online, we can use the... We can spend influence at the Jacaro encampment to get the hero rushed up to a higher level, and ideally get some items on him that provide resources. Oh, more Chaos Cultists. Oh, Necrons. I hate Necrons. And there's the Crit Hounds. Yeah, you guys can have this. This is your territory now. I'm not fighting you for it. Let's just pull back here. I'm not fighting them for this. Oh, I probably should have taken some shots on those Crit Hounds before I left. Ah, well. Yeah, it's really unfortunate we've spawned this close to Necrons. Necrons are such a brutal early game enemy. They may actually cause me to lose. It's a little early to call a loss, but it has become a distinct possibility. And there goes a webway gate. Hate those guys. Okay, we're gonna have to pull the Guardians all back into the city if we can. There we go. We did get the Bonesinger Chantry upgrade, though, so that's nice. Let's see. Reduces the cost of Suriani arrivals. That's probably pretty good. Alright. Let's see. Right, we're working on the building that builds buildings, the Bonesinger Chantries. And we're going to have pretty well all of our units retired for a little bit. It's unfortunate that one Chaos Cultist was able to get away after taking so much damage. But the Barbarians, you know, the Barbarian AI is smart enough to recognize it's better to run away most of the time. Playing cowardly is rewarding in Gladius. It's not, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, and they've taken that outpost back. I suspect there's going to be quite a bit of back and forth on that, since the cultists outnumber the Guardians. Okay, Carissanad has put in the Bonesinger's Chantry. Now we are definitely going to have to put in a loyalty building somewhere. Let's see. Which of these tiles is just kind of Garbo? This is a Garbo tile. I'm going to have to expand into it and put on a loyalty building, because otherwise that's just going to get worse every turn. Okay, we can spend influence for more growth more cheaply. Let's see. Lambroth is going to need a population capacity building after the Bonesinger's Chantry is set up. Okay, let's clear out this forest here. That should only take a turn anyways. And then we'll put down the loyalty building. Whoop, I've accidentally clicked onto the scroll bar again. Let's see. The Black Libraries increases the research output of Spirit Ossuaries. Again, I'm not even going to look at the other texts. Well, no, the other texts don't look that impressive anyways. Hammer of Wrath is usually good, though. I'm definitely going to have to look into setting up some kind of military soon, because the Necrons are going to be just that much of a problem in the early game. However, at the same time, I've got these problems enough in my cities to deal with. I'm probably better off setting up a vehicle building in terms of military here. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a vehicle building, because I can afford to spend a bit of minerals on vehicles better than I can afford to spend food, because I just have no good food tiles near me. And it's unlikely I will be able to set up a webway gate in any good food biomes, because all of the biomes near me are volcanic or desert. Oh, they settled right there in front of me. Oh. Oh, I hate the Necrons. Alright. Here we go, we've got a loyalty building set up, thank God. Now, we can also go ahead, since this is not a particularly great tile, we can also set up an Asuriani Crucible to get infantry out quickly. Let's not do that just yet. We could set up a Shrine of Cain instead to build heroes. Or we can look into making a Bone Singer's Chantry again so we can get buildings out even faster. I'll do that. So, we're probably just going to have these Guardians run defense here. So much for taking outposts, I suppose. What unit do I get that can tear apart terrain features? Because I'd like to tear apart this forest here. That forest is only really beneficial to attackers, not defenders. You really don't want forests immediately around your city, because they provide cover for siege attackers. Okay, let's see. We can get a unit of Shining Spears. They'll take 9 turns, and they'll cost 40 minerals, and they'll have an upkeep of 2 minerals. Ugh. Okay, we need to expand into another energy-producing tile here. This is not a super good start position. This is, in fact, seems like quite a bad start position. Let's go ahead and research the Fire Prism, because that seems like a heavier vehicle unit that will be able to do a bit more damage against Necrons. Okay, and let's tear up the feature here, so we can put in more energy buildings in the future. So much pain. On the bright side, that webway gate is apparently leveling up. I don't think that does anything, but it's funny. Alright, cut us a nod. Let's see, we've got another Bone Singer's Chantry set up. That was quick. So now virtually all the buildings are going to be produced in more or less a single turn. So let's put in another loyalty building just to go ahead and get that game running. And we can spend 40 influence for 3 loyalty, but it's really not that good, so I won't do that. Alright, Lambereth is ready to put in another energy building. I need energy right now. I am losing rapid amounts of it. So I'll go ahead and focus on that before I get to building another Bone Singer's Chantry. And there goes another webway gate. Okay. Okay, this Guardian is ready to get back out there. Hopefully he can deal with at least one of the cultists before the other one comes to its brother's aid. Okay, the Fire Prism. We've got a solid tank. There we go. Okay, these Guardians, we will go ahead and move them out a little bit. We'll move them into the forest, so we'll give them cover in case there is anything nearby. Which there was not. Cursinod has got another loyalty building set up. They're finally in the green for loyalty. And what else do we want to put there? We can also put in a population cap building. Or we can put in a vehicle producing building, which I think I will do that. Because there is a distinct possibility we will need those in the future. We can also put one here, though, where we'll get both a research and mineral output bonus. At the same time, it puts out so little mineral and research, it doesn't matter. So I'll put it here. Okay, let's see. The Portal Spire, which is our airport, crystal targeting matrix. Grants the ability to temporarily increase the accuracy of tanks. Increases energy gain when Aeldari die. Ideally, I'm not going to be using that much. Grants the ability to temporarily increase armor against enemy ranged weapons. Melee mechs, okay. Increases the armor of vehicles. That one sounds really good. I'm also curious about Wraith Blades, though, because that sounds cool. I like big robots with axes. Who can disagree with that? Only fools. Okay, those Chaos Cultists. Let's go ahead and wait a single turn before we move in. Lambereth has got a energy building set up. now we're going to also want a loyalty building. Let's see. There's plenty of energy buildings around here, so I'm going to go ahead and put the loyalty building right here, because we're... Whoop, that's not the loyalty building, excuse me. That's the infantry producing building. I'll put the loyalty building right there, and then get to work on another Bone Singer's Chantry in Lambeth. And there goes another webway gate. Boy, they are dropping like flies. I guess the Aeldari aren't that big on wide play anyways, though. It doesn't seem like they get a lot of loyalty bonuses, and loyalty bonuses are pretty well the necessity for wide play. Let's wait another turn and let the Chaos Cultists walk into the Overwatch range if we can. Let's see. Karasanad. We can put in... Wow, we are losing energy rapidly. Karasanad, we've put in another vehicle building. But we're going to want to put in next probably a research building. We're getting very close, to the end of the research tree, which was the entire goal I had in settling Karasanad, so we'll consider that mission accomplished. Karasanad can also set up a vehicle, can order a vehicle, which is... I'll hold off on it for a single turn, because we're not at that much of a mineral... We don't have that much of a wealth of minerals available to us at the moment. Somebody's taking a long turn. Okay, these Guardians can move out and take the Jacaro encampment. So they will. And Karasanad is ready to build something yet again. Let's expand our tiles, because right now, if we build anything, it's going to be a big energy cost, and we are losing energy quite rapidly. So let's expand the tiles out to here, on top of these Guardians, so these Guardians get the defense bonus from being within a city's borders. And we will not be building any tanks, because we are still at a... I'd like to gain a little bit more minerals before I get to work on that. Okay, and we will end the turn. Okay, now we've got the Wraith Blades researched. Where are they built from? What building builds Wraith Blades? I guess I'll find out later. Is it an infantry? Yes, it is considered an infantry unit. Okay, it's a robotic infantry unit, but nonetheless, it's an infantry unit. These Guardians, if they move right here, they're going to be outside of the range of those Chaos Cultists, so they can take some shots on these other Chaos Cultists pretty freely. And pretty soon, those Shining Spears will spawn in to provide some aid as well. Karasanad can go ahead and build a building. Lambeth is going to need to build one in a single turn. But I'm going to hold off on producing any more buildings in Karasanad so long as we're at that energy deficit, because I don't want to make it any worse. And it can also choose to build a tank, which is what I will order it to do just in case we see some serious Necron action in the next few turns. Okay, we can get to work on an airport, but I can't see myself using it while I've got this large energy deficit. I will instead go for Wraithbone Infusion. That sounds good. Whew, those Guardians are taking a lot of damage. That's the risk I chose to take, I suppose. Okay, now on this next turn, they can take some parting shots and pull back into the Imperial Ruins, which ideally the Cultists will not be able to follow. They should only have a move range of 3, so 1, 2, 3. They could probably take the attack next turn. I might lose those Guardians. I guess I can just replace them if I do. Okay, we've got a big amount of influence here. We need everything in Lambeth. We are just losing energy so rapidly. I need more energy for right now. Boy, we are not producing a lot of it from these buildings. Okay, Karasanad. Let's see, we can go ahead and do nothing because we are at such an energy deficit. So I will instead expand the borders yet again. And possibly from there start tearing up some of the local... some of the wireweed down here. Now, ideally, the Necrons don't come that close. That's enslavers. I can live with enslavers. Okay, the Shining Spears are out. What can you boys do? You've got melee laser lances. Limits the armor of the target unit. And it's a melee attack, okay. And the ranged laser lance, it has a range of 1. And the twin-linked shuriken catapults. Okay, so this is very much a rush melee unit. And it's a scout as well, okay. So, this guy, let's see if we can throw him against the cultists and him do any damage. Okay, Lambereth is not going to build any more vehicles, because we do not have the ability to really do anything with this city. It's kind of fallen by the wayside. And Karasanad is dependent on Lambereth for energy, so it can't really do anything either. I've got a bad setup here. Part of this is bad start position, but part of this, I believe, is also my own mistakes. Which, I mean, first time playing Aeldar, of course I'm not going to do it perfect first try. How much damage can the cultists do to the Shining Spears? They don't take a single bite. Okay. Now, in kind, the Shining Spears will probably wipe them out on the next turn. And let's see, do the Shining Spears have that ability that allows them to move after attacking? Do they have that? Battle Focus, yes they do. So they can move in, tear these guys down, and then retreat to... Can they retreat to within Lambereth itself? Yes, they can. So they can get repaired there. Excellent. Okay, yeah, Shining Spears seem like a good unit. Okay. Meanwhile, in Karasanad, we've torn up that bit of wireweed. That's good. We can also expand the borders somewhat. We are losing an influence for every tile we take, but it's better to at least do this than to have the city wait and do nothing. It's unfortunate that as the Aeldar, I'm really having to go for a tall direction, since so many of the webway gates are getting nuked by the enemy. Because both of my cities have so few tiles. And such a bad array of tiles. But it is what it is. Let's see. Well, we need more energy still. So, I suppose I can take... It's not like I'm going to be at a lack for minerals, so I'll take this tile and I'll tear off the wireweed, maybe. Or I'll take this tile and tear off the wireweed and the Imperial Ruins. I guess I'll go for that, yeah. Meanwhile, in Karasanad, we still can't do anything. Shock of Shocks. Are any of these particularly good mineral tiles, or would we be better off just... We'd probably be better off just tearing the minerals off, tearing the Imperial Ruins off this tile and putting something else there in the future. Meanwhile, for our next bit of research, we can reduce the cooldown of Asuryani arrivals. Well, it's not like I'm doing a lot of that right now. We can have our tanks move through cover, that sounds good. Increases armor penetration of heavy weapons, and we can get War Walkers. Let's go for the ability to have tanks move through cover, that sounds good. Boy, we've moved through 50 turns in a single session. And once you get to the late game of these Civ-type games, it takes so much longer to get anywhere. But I am, yeah, in a bad position here. I have done this improperly. So, it's certainly taking me more time than it really should. And of course, Lambereth is also horribly underpopulated, because I have just entirely screwed the pooch here. Let's see. If I could get some other kind of energy, that would be great. But at the moment, I'm just kind of stuck in a bad position. Because I didn't build that many Guardians at first. I probably should have gone a bit more nuts with the Guardians, even if it was at a food deficit early on. So that I could claim more outposts. But, yeah, I guess this is just something to learn for the future. I'm not a very early rusher, and I think Gladius wants you to do that a lot more with the outposts. I've just not been learning. Oh boy, there's just... We should, at this point, just have Karasanad also invest in energy buildings, even though there's not any really good energy tiles here. Let's see. That's kind of a bad tile. I'll go ahead and put an energy generator there. I want to do things more efficiently. I want to set up all my energy in Lambereth, but I think I'm just going to have to let the efficiency fiend in me sleep on that. Okay, we've got an energy building there, and it was a big benefit. Oh, I should have just been doing this from the beginning. See, this is why I like playing the Mechanicus. They reward my efficiency, perfection-based playstyle. I want everything to be in the perfect place. Okay, end the turn. It's not like I have access to promethium relay pipes in any of the areas anyway, so I'm not really going to be getting that efficient of an energy output. Let's go ahead and put in another energy building here just really quickly just to get some kind of energy out of... Whoop! Let's not put it on the ocean. That's impossible, sadly. Alright, here in Coruscant, we are going to have to put in another energy building, almost certainly. Yeah, these Imperial ruins are going to have to go. And we'll put in another energy building there just to get the deficit gone. The fact that Coruscant can build more quickly is really meaning that I really should have invested in energy first there. Oh boy. Well, hey, these are the things you learn, the mistakes you make. This one may end up being a failure, but I'm willing to just start up another Aeldari playthrough in case this one does go belly up. We'll have to see how the other players are doing, but I'm going to assume the Necrons are doing well, because they near always do well. Just by sheer nature of the things that are beneficial to them are things that an AI can take advantage of. Isha's Gardens, even though there's no good spots for them. Okay, and Lambroth is working on its energy producer. Oh, I hate the enslavers! At the very least, they're right next to this city, so the city can take some shots on them as well. Which, Eldar cities can shoot, right? Eldar cities can shoot, right? Right? Can Eldar cities not defend themselves? Hang on. Okay, they can. The Overwatch just didn't go off. That's... Oh, Barrage. Cannot Overwatch. Okay. Doesn't put out a lot of damage for it to be a city, either. Alright, Coruscant is working on food. Lambroth has got an energy building out. Now, what I'm going to want to put out here is probably another Bonesinger's Chantry, now that I've got my energy back in the black. Let's see, are there any particularly good tiles for Bonesinger's Chantry? Bonesinger's Chantries produce ore, growth, and research. Are there going to be any other decent areas for a Bonesinger's Chantry? Not really, they're all kind of subpar. So in that case, I'll go ahead and put the Bonesinger's Chantry right here. Ooh, that's going to be a while to produce that. I hope I can pull this back. That would be nice if I could pull this back. Increases armor penetration of heavy weapons. And, yeah, let's go ahead and get War Walkers as well, just in case they end up being useful. My poor, sweet baby webway gates. Whatever will I do? Is there no one up here in the far northeast? I'd almost be curious about sending some Guardians up there if I had the Guardians to send. Let's see. Which I guess that's one thing about the Eldar I haven't used at all, which is something I probably should have used, is get a few extra Guardians and just send them to some really out there webway gate that doesn't seem to be getting much attention from the AI. And see if you can set up a city in a really weird spot that no one else is contending for. Okay, let's see. Here in Coruscant, we can put in probably another power plant. Is probably what we're going to want to put in. Because we're going to end up spending even more even more energy on that other Bonestringer Chantry once it gets put in. At the same time, we could use more vehicle-producing buildings and more minerals. We can always use more minerals. Let's see, are there any particularly good mineral tiles around here? Let's go ahead. Nah. I don't think we need to rush research anymore. Let's put in a hero building, sure. And we will, yeah, tear up this forest. But first, let's put in the Shrine of Cain just so we can get some heroes on the board. I really should have been doing that a lot earlier. Heroes are really good. But heroes are consistently the one thing I always ignore in the early game, and it's always to my detriment, because heroes are really good. Okay, the fire prism is out and about, and he will have, let's see. He's got a prism cannon, it's got a range of 3, and a shuriken cannon with a range of 2. Okay, so these are Eldar hammerheads, then. He can also switch between lance, focused, and dispersed. Hang on. So lance limits the amount of armor of the opponent. Focused makes it a blast, so it's good for crowd clearing. Dispersed, what's the difference? Okay, focused has better armor piercing, I'm gonna guess? Yes, it does, okay. But I don't see what the... Hang on. I don't see how dispersed is any good. Oh, large blast, okay. You know, either which way, it's likely the lance will be more useful against the Necrons, so I'll have it camp out right here. What's this ability? Linked fire. Okay, at half the range, it's a buff that does more damage. Okay, interesting. Alright, Chrysanod has put out its first vehicle. However, the mineral output is not to the degree that I would want, so I'll hold off on building any more vehicles. We also need a population cap building here badly, but we'll look into that later. Population cap in general has been something that I've been fairly comfortable ignoring, though it's probably having some kind of detriment. I don't know, the growth system is easily the most unclear system in this game. I don't know how it works. It doesn't seem like I really get that bad of debuffs from being underpopulated. I push forward on population because I have to assume it's debuffing me somehow, but I'm not visibly seeing the effects. That would be a nice quality of life update if they could clarify what exactly is going on with that system. Okay, we're going to actually tear up these Imperial ruins here. And probably put in the population cap building there. No, let's actually focus on putting in the population cap building first. There we go. And Chrysanod can also produce a hero. The Autarch, who costs 6 influence and 3 food. 6 influence is all I got. Sheesh, I've done this poorly. Now let's put the hero building to sleep, because I suspect it'll be a while before I can actually afford a hero. I have just done a poor job all around here. Alright, the War Walker. Let's see, it has got 4 movement. That's actually a bit less than I was expecting from a walker. And it has the usual Eldar abilities. It has a Bright Lance. And it has a Star Cannon. Okay. Okay, for research, let's see. The ability to expand our cities out another tile would be good. Domes of the Seers. What's the Dome of the Seers? Do I have a Dome of the Seers? Oh, the Influence building. Okay. Well, I am going to need influence in the future, but for now, let's go for Exodite infrastructure. Oh. Well, on the bright side, these... Oh. Hang on, let me go down here. On the bright side, the Shining Spears and Guardians should be ready to get back into action now, so they can go and take that Chikaro encampment back. And there goes another webway gate. There are now 3 left on the whole map. Okay. Let's move up and do some damage here. Probably should have had the Shining Spears go first, because they can take the damage and not really lose that much in terms of damage output. And there go those Chaos Cultists. Finally out of my hair. Okay. Now, Chrysanod, we can go ahead and finally put in... We put in a population cap building. We're gonna need another one. So we'll go ahead and look into that, I suppose. We're not putting out much output in general right now. Chrysanod's production output has decreased considerably. I don't know why. It may be because they've only just now realized that they're underpopulated. So we will go ahead and reduced influence cost. We'll up the growth. There we go. Now, Lambroth should look into putting out some more influence production here, because evidently influence is going to be a resource that we need to be worried about. So I'll expand out to that tile. And ideally, we can get that influence game going. Okay, the Shining Spears will go ahead and claim that outpost. The Guardians will have run back so they can heal. They're just too fragile to leave out like that. Okay, we can also tear up this Imperial Ruins here for another spot for an energy building, which we are apparently already losing energy yet again. That just seems to be always the way I end up in Gladius. I'm always losing energy or losing minerals. Economics is hard. Okay. These Shining Spears, the Necrons have claimed that tile. Let's see what's going on with this webway gate down here. Okay, a fermentation pool. That would probably be pretty good for the Aeldari, but I don't really want more desert space. Okay, here in Lambereth, we've torn up the Imperial Ruins on that tile, so I can now put in Plasma Generator. Oh, hello, Gene Stealer cultists. You've lost out on your Overwatch bonus, you fools. They've applied Shrouded, but the Shining Spears are a melee unit, so that's not really the end of the world for me. We'll wreck them anyways. And then we will take the fermentation pool for ourselves. There's something cool about knights mounted on flying motorcycles. With lances, proper lances, you know? We can choose to attack that webway gate, but we won't, because we're not stupid. We will tell the Shining Spears to heal. The Guardians in Lambereth are just about healed up. Let's see, here in Karasanad, we can invest in another building. We can also tear up this particular bit of Imperial Ruins to build something there as well. Let's see. We'll probably go ahead and do that, because we're going to need another energy building stat. The fact that Karasanad puts out the faster production. Okay, so the Necrons are taking out that webway gate. There we go. So there's only one... Yeah, really only one building spot left for me. That's unfortunate. I probably should camp out as many units as I can on that southern... Yeah, on this webway gate right here, because this webway gate's going to be my only possibility for future settlement. Oh no, enslavers! Oh! I hate the enslavers so much! Oh, well, there goes those Shining Spears. It's really a barb that just gets to take a unit for free. Maybe the Guardians can get in there and finish the Enslaver off, but probably not, because the Enslavers tend to just take a unit and then run off into the night. Let's see, Lambereth and Karasanad can both build a building. Lambereth needs a population cap building badly, but we need everything badly right now. We are just kind of losing in all regards. I have done this very poorly. Where's a good spot for a population cap building? Because I should probably look into that at this point. I don't even know how that works. I need to look that up. I need to Google it if somebody else has cracked that up and figured out what's going on. I'll expand to this tile, because this tile doesn't seem very good. And then I'll tear out the Imperial Ruins. Karasanad will also... Let's see. This is just kind of a badly placed city. We can put in an infantry building to get some research and loyalty, so I'll go ahead and do that. But I don't have enough of a food excess with the cities I've got settled. Lilith's Oracle, increased influence output, I'll take it. Okay, thank God the Enslaver has decided not to fight with me. If I can get the Guardians and the Shining Spears to team up on them, that would be just aces. So we will let the Shining Spears... Ooh, old one artifact. Which one does this provide? What's this do? Hang on, what is this? Increases the damage of your units by 10%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, Lambereth has expanded, and they are ready to put in a population cap building. Oh, those enslavers are running away. I see. I see how it is. More Chaos Cultists, but they're not really going to be a threat. We can do some damage to the Enslavers, but, you know, it's not enough to risk it. So we'll move here instead. These Guardians, I will not have them attack my own Webway Gate, because that would be stupid. And I'm not going to claim the Webway Gate as mine either, because then the Barbarians will start attacking it. And I doubt I have the ability to protect it right now with my incredibly thin military force covering my incredibly underdeveloped economy. And we're at turn 70. By turn 20, I think that you're supposed to be already having a rollicking army and a rollicking economy with a massive army. So, I may have to actually sit down and do some learning how to actually play this game properly and not like a fool. Alright, clearing a tile is free, so we'll spend a turn doing that. Sure. Sheesh. Oh, the infantry building is also up, but I'm not going to be producing anything because I don't have the food. I have just entirely let this get out of control. Okay, we've got some guys ready to move. Can we figure out where the enslavers are? They are there. Now that they're outnumbered, they're running away. The AI is smart about these things. Okay, and here in Coruscant, let's see. We can put in another population cap building, I suppose. But that's... Oh, no, we don't want to put in another population cap building. What am I saying? More influence, more minerals. Oof. We can also just tear up this resource here, this forest here, because we're not using it. So let's do that. Okay, we might be able to... We can go ahead and hit the... enslavers then, and I will go for that because they are such a tremendous threat. Alright, now here in Coruscant, I don't know, the elves are weird. Alright, here in Coruscant, I'd help. Ugh. Yeah, we still just kind of need more of everything. Can we get some mineral buildings set up here? Because we are not producing buildings at the rate I would like to. We'll expand to this tile. That's a good mineral tile. I think perhaps that my issue here is I might have gone too nuts with the Bone Singer's Chantries. I wanted to get buildings, and I wanted to get buildings out quickly. But the Bone Singer's Chantries are costing such a tremendous upkeep that I am now having to use the Bone Singer's Chantries to pay for the Bone Singer's Chantries, and I'm not really getting them out fast enough to actually pay for the amount of Bone Singer's Chantries I built. This is definitely my fault here. Let's see, let's get another energy building out, because we are losing energy rapidly yet again. And we will spend some influence for some population growth as well. That is so loud! Every time. Ugh. Okay. We can move up and take that skull altar. Let's have the Shining Spears move first, because there are some cultists up there, I believe. Oh, recaf leaf, and I don't get to settle on it. Oh, there's an Imperial Guard city right there. Oh. Oh, no, that's not Guard. That's Space Marines. That's worse. That's much worse. That's much, much worse. Oh, boy. Rocking a hard place here. Yeah, this is a combination of not just a rough start position, but also my own incompetence, and I guess the Shining Spears probably have the worst Overwatch. My own incompetence and getting stuck between two of the worst races to fight, just throughout the whole game, but especially in the early and mid-game. And while we may be clearly in the mid-game here, I am nonetheless rocking an early-game army. Okay, let's see. Karasanad. I'm almost thinking wrapping this one just because there is so little happening. But no, I'll keep going with it. I'll keep going with it. The AI has been bizarrely merciful. There was the one game of Tau that I recorded and then wound up deleting the recording. Because by turn 50, I got rushed by a lot of orcs. But clearly my build order in my cities is all wrong. I am not producing nearly as much as I should be at the points that I am at in the game. There is something that I am prioritizing that is a waste of money. There is something that is really good that I am not prioritizing at all. And I haven't yet figured out what they are. So, I may need to look up some kind of specific guide for the Eldar, honestly, because there's just something I'm not getting here. And I fear that it's not the sort of thing that playing more would help me understand, because right now I'm honestly clueless as to where I went wrong. Other than probably Bonesinger's Chantries are expensive and I shouldn't have gone so nuts with them early on. And also probably should have gone for heroes earlier. But I'm not making very much influence at all, so I can't even cover for the hero thing now. Let's see. Speaking of influence, no, I don't need to put out more influence. I need to put out more power. Always need more power. Power, 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 power. Energy, 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 energy. Okay, we've reached the end of the tech tree, though. That's nice. Maybe I shouldn't have rushed the tech tree so badly. That's probably another thing I wasted a lot of money on. But at the very least, I can get Doom of the Aeldari. And I can also go for webway constriction, but that'll be useless because there are no webways! Yeah, on a huge map, I can see where the Eldar using the webways is a lot more viable, but on a normal-sized map, on a medium-sized map against 3 AIs, the webways just don't survive long enough for them to actually be useful as teleporters. They are just used to settle cities on the most immediately available 3 around you. Now, these Shining Spears, I'll have them sit and do nothing so they can cover the Guardian's escape. Lambreth has... we're out of minerals. I just can't win here. I am just doing something wrong. Nonetheless, just so we don't spend a turn doing nothing, I'm going to tear up this Imperial Ruins. There we go. Oops. And Karasanad can also produce, but they won't be able to because I don't have any minerals. And unlike Lambreth, there are no Imperial Ruins that they need to tear up, so this city is going to waste a turn. Oh, I have done this all wrong. Okay. Let's go ahead and have these Guardians heal on this outpost, and these Shining Spears will protect them. I absolutely should not have gone for a third unit of Guardians out of the gate. That food deficit has been hanging over my head throughout the rest of the game. I should have recognized there's just no good food possibilities whatsoever around me, so what little food I can get has to go to maintaining the population. I should have invested in going for Shining Spears as my early game unit instead. That's another mistake I've made. Because the Guardians have been extremely squishy, and yet they're extremely expensive for me because I just simply do not have the food supply necessary to support them. While the Shining Spears have been much cheaper and easier on my budget, they cost, what is it? 2 minerals? That's paltry. They are faster, they hit harder, they seem to be a bit tougher, they don't suffer from losing units quite as badly. So, that has just generally been kind of a mistake on my part. Right, let's expand Lambreth a little bit into this looks like a good mineral tile. We're going to need more minerals, and we need more energy, and we need more food, we need more influence, we need more units, we need more loyalty, we need more... Really? Just everything except research. Everything except research and building production. The 2 things that I went hard on have not paid off nearly to the degree that I wanted. I think part of it was just me being, I guess greedy would be a word for it, but me being impatient. There we go. I wanted the instant gratification of building buildings in only a turn or 2. But my economy just can't support that, nor can it support the Bonesinger's Chantries. And the Bonesinger's Chantries take so long to build the first one. Well, where I probably went wrong was building a second Bonesinger's Chantry. Building 1 is probably a lot more reasonable. I guess we'll have to see. This may honestly just be the sort of thing where I have to look up somebody else's, what they've learned about the game, because so far I've just not entirely figured out where exactly I should be going here. Of course, it does help. Like I said, I've said a couple times now, this is a rough start position. Lambereth only has access to one outpost. Karasanad only has access to one outpost. And part of that's on me. I shouldn't have settled Karasanad. I should have settled on this Prometheum relay pipe instead, probably. It's just got better real estate access, and... would it have better access to the outposts? No, not really. Yeah, that's just generally, I guess, kind of the problem with Eldars. The webway gates are near always very far from other outposts. So when you build a city as the Eldar, you only get to build a select few cities, and each of them will really only get one outpost they can expand their borders around. So I guess that's just the general problem the Eldar have. That one's not just the start position. Maybe if you set up the map generation to have more outpost density, more luxury resource density, more special resource density, maybe then it wouldn't be such a problem. But then you're messing with map generation, and that's kind of... It feels a bit weird if you have to say, oh, this race is really good if you mess with map generation. You know, in Civ 6, it'd be silly to say, you know, the Incans are God level, God tier, but only if you set it to have, you know, lots of mountains and map generation. This actually isn't a terrible food tile, and not terrible food tiles I need. But I'm actually going to not really be able to do anything in Karasanad, because I am just that badly out of minerals. And we are again at an energy deficit. Once more. And we're not gaining as many minerals as I would like, and we're at a food deficit that is just getting worse. Because I am not matching the population growth. And I still don't have enough minerals to actually build as much as I want in my cities. Alright, Karasanad can put in a food building finally. There we go. And finally, we have the loyalty gain from Transcendent Bliss. Okay, and the Guardians and Shining Spears are ready to move once more. However, I'm kind of pinned in now by the Necrons and the Space Marines. Which... yeah, I should have pushed out a little bit more and perhaps not allowed them to forward settle me so much. But that's another thing of, like, my general issue I have in this game, and in many other strategy games, of not investing in military early enough. Okay, and are there any other tier 10 techs we really want to research? No, because none of these are really good. I can go back to tier 1, I suppose. Which, let's see, we can increase the production output of vehicle buildings, but I'm not producing that many vehicles anyways. I can get rangers out, I can increase the food output of Isha's gardens. I'll do that, even though I don't expect it'll actually be all that much. It'll probably be like a 0.5 increase, which will not be good. Okay, Lambereth is ready to put in, let's see. Alright, we're back in the black on energy. We're not putting out as many minerals as I would like, though. Meanwhile, in Karasanad, we can put in another food building just because we have at least some kind of food set up here. So I'll go ahead and go for that. But we're going to have to put in more energy in Lambereth on the next turn. Extraction efficiency for more ore output. Sure. Oh, this video has actually gone on, it looks like probably a half hour over, at least from my looking at the clock. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Hopefully... I can turn this into something a little bit more fun, or at the very least the AI will continue to behave a bit passively as they seem to be right now. But more than likely what we are looking at next session is either a Space Marine army from the east or a Necron army from the north rolling in and wrecking me. Which is unfortunate, but it is entirely my own fault. However, I will see how this game goes in the next session. It does certainly seem to be moving at a much faster pace than the Tau campaign, though that's probably in large part because I've ignored military, and as a result I've not actually been moving my units around all that much. So, either which way, I will be back at some point in the future with another session of Eldar play. Later.